everyone, and welcome to the Lackawanna Historical Society's bi-monthly Friday Lackawanna Pastimes Zoom programs. We are very excited today. I'm especially excited because our speaker is a young man from Roaring Brook Township who I had the pleasure of meeting over the summer when he came to the Historical Society, made an appointment during COVID so that he could come in and do some research for his merit badge project, which was to create a PowerPoint on his hometown. And when he was in, I asked him if he'd be interested in presenting for us on Zoom in the future. And not only did he say yes, he nodded his head. He called or emailed a few months later and said, "I'm ready when you are." So it's great to see someone of this age getting involved and interested in local history and also being willing to share what he's learned. So our speaker is 12-year-old Corey Kowalski of Roaring Brook Township. He holds the rank of Star Scout in Boy Scout Troop 133 in Jefferson Township. And he's a 7th grader from North Pocono Middle School and has created a slideshow presentation on his hometown as part of the Citizenship in Community Merit Badge by compiling historical information about the township, photographing local points of interest, and talking to township elected officials. And his favorite part of the project was visiting various sites in the township. So hopefully Corey's going to share some of those township sites with us now. So Corey, welcome.
Hi, I am Corey Kowalski from Troop 133 in Jefferson Township, and this is my presentation of Roaring Brook Township for my Citizenship in the Community Merit Badge. Let's get started. History. Prior to 1827, the area was known as Pleasant Valley and was uninhabited. Most of the western part of the future township was purchased in the early 1840s from the Philadelphia Bank of North America by the Lackawanna Iron and Coal Company. During 1858, Dr. Anthony P. Gardner, who lived from 1816 to 1895, opened Glen Home 1 mile southeast of present-day Elmhurst. Dr. Gardner is credited as being the first full-time settler. Because the area was heavily timbered, the years preceding the Civil War saw a number of sawmills in the township. Current home of Daniel Gardner family on Gardner Road on a portion of the original homestead, which is the image right here. On May 24th, 1871, Roaring Brook Township was formed from parts of the borough of Dunmore and Jefferson and Madison townships. The reason it was named for a stream is on the same day, another town called Pleasant Valley was incorporated from part of Pittston Township. The stream today, known as Roaring Brook, is a translation of the Native American name for the stream, Naog. Both names refer to the sound of high water rushing through a narrow gorge northeast of the now abandoned village of Greensville, which would later be renamed Naog. Located in the township are 2 of the largest natural lakes in North Pocono. Formed by glaciers during the last ice age, they are Hazard Pond near the intersection of PA 307 and Blue Shutters Road, and Mud Pond east of Elmhurst on Griffin Road. Roaring Brook in 1873. Here's the picture right here. James Laughlin and Joshua S. Miller were elected justices in 1871, and Thomas Hardenberg and J.S. Miller in 18 76. And population in 1880 was 769. No permanent settlement was made until 1847. The first schoolhouse was built in 1855. It was once known as the Forest Hill Schoolhouse, between Dunning and the steam sawmill operated by E. Simpson. The first store was kept by Strong and Robinson, and the next by Eugene Snyder, who had a store at Dunning for several years. Pioneer Tavern was at Hunter Range, a mile below Dunning at the intersection of the Cobb Road with the Turnpike. The first and only resident physician was Dr. A.P. Gardner of Glenholm Farm. The first wedding was of William Robinson and Miss Jane Dunning, and the first birth was that of Miss Ada Robinson. The first water power sawmill was in Dunning. It was built by Gilbert Dunning. The next was built by Peck and Stevens farther down the street. The first steam sawmill was built by Dr. A.P. Gardner in 1857, a little south of Forest Hill. And Gilbert Dunning formerly owned all of the land which stands the village that bore his name. Methodist Episcopal Church. The first preaching in Roaring Brook was in 1853 by a Methodist minister at the house of J.M. Stevens, about a mile below Dunning. Services were held in the schoolhouse on the Cobb Road in the summer and the house of J.M. Stevens during the winter. Baptist Church. This church was organized March 19th, 1868, in the district schoolhouse at Dunning by Reverend J.C. Sherman. There were blacksmith shops, wheelwrights, a chair factory, a shingle factory, and a tannery. Gravity Railroad was abandoned in 1886. The Erie Railroad laid parts of its track on the gravity through parts of Roaring Brook. In 1899, the settlement of Dunnings left the township and incorporated as Elmhurst Borough. In 1902, the Music Lake Railway circled the cliffs of Barney's Ledge and went through the outskirts of the township. It was abandoned in the early 1920s. During Prohibition, the township was not policed. It was a mecca for bootleggers and had several roadhouses and speakeasies. In the early 1900s, the township building was a one-room shed used by the local justice of the peace and officials to settle traffic violations. The township stopped using it in the 1960s and closed it in 1978. In 2008, the township repurchased it for $2,500 and moved it to the township property on Blue Shutters Road. The Township Police Department was formed in 1974. It also provides police services for Elmhurst Township. Original Township Building. It was on Route 307 near Homestead Drive. As cultures and ethnic groups. As of the 2010 census, there were 1,907 people, 728 households, and 571 families residing in the township. The population density was 89.1 people per square mile. 69.8% were married couples. 29.4% had children under 18 living with them. It has 21.8 square miles and surrounds Elmhurst Township. Racial makeup, 98% white, 0.5% African American, 0.1% Pacific Islander, 1% Hispanic or Latino, 0.7% Asian, 0.2% other. Median household income was $69,583. First inhabited by the Native Americans, early European settlers were Quakers and from the colony of Connecticut. Roaring Brook Township today. Source: the PA Department of Transportation. Roaring Brook Township building. Elmhurst / Roaring Brook Volunteer Fire Department. St. Eulalia's Catholic Church. Features and popular places. Roaring Brook Township Park, baseball field, playground, and a gazebo. Elmhurst Country Club, golf and food. Elmhurst Reservoir, water source and hiking trails. St. Mary's Villa, nursing home and assisted living. Part of Lake Scranton. There's also in Roaring Brook, also a water source and hiking trails. The Roaring Brook, of course. Roaring Brook Township Park. Elmhurst Country Club. This is an image of the 18th hole. Elmhurst Reservoir. Dunmore Reservoirs 3 and 4 are in the township. Elmhurst Reservoir has a capacity of 1,393,000,000 gallons. And it was hard to take this picture because I was taking it out of the sunroof of a car. St. Mary's Villa. Lake Scranton. Half of Lake Scranton is in Roaring Brook Township. It has a capacity of 2,517,000,000 gallons. The Roaring Brook. This picture was during the summer, and it had a lot of drought during the summer. Hopefully, the water level has risen. Challenges: growth, new houses, buildings, and people. Maintenance: taking care of and paying for roads and equipment. Getting enough part-time officers for the police department. Sources: The History and Railroads of North Pocono by Frank P. Adams, who is my cousin. Lackawanna County Historical Society, Moscow Villager, Scranton Times, 2010 Census, and the Roaring Brook Township office. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much, Corey. If anybody has any questions, if you could just unmute yourself before you speak, but please feel free to chime in.
Corey, first of all, I didn't know Frank Adams was your cousin. Tell him Mary Ann from the Historical Society said hello. That explains why you're interested in history, I think, because Frank has a lot of interest in history. And what's that?
He is on the Zoom.
He is on the Zoom? Hi, Frank. And I also wanted to ask, the picture you took of the Gardner house, do you know what address that was?
It's on the way to Elmhurst Country Club.
Okay.
I don't know the address though.
Okay. I just curious about it because I want to drive by myself sometime. Thank you.
I thought it was a very nice presentation, but most of all, I really loved the pictures. They were clear shots, large shots, very nice. They weren't tiny and cramped style that you can't see on a Zoom. So you did a great job, really a good job. I really don't have any questions. I just have to compliment your work and your pictures. Very nice.
Yeah, I think it was a really fantastic presentation. I didn't really know much about that area, so I learned a few things. And I can have you add something to your presentation. That Music Lake Railroad, which began as a railroad with steam engines and passenger cars, became the trolley line. And you can change your early 1920s date to 1926. That's when it was abandoned. If you really want to walk up very steep hills and park a long way, you can walk part of it. It's still up there. Because as Mary Ann figured, I did.
Part of it is behind my house. So.
He doesn't have to walk that far at all. Corey, what was your favorite thing that you learned from this project?
The cultures and ethnic groups. Yeah.
Okay.
Were you surprised at what you found out about the ethnic groups, the different ethnic groups?
Yes.
Okay.
Surprised.
This is Gail. I want to thank Corey for his presentation. It was wonderful. And one part of it ties into some of the research I'm doing. So thank you. Gilbert Dunning is the father of someone I'm going to be doing a little bit more research on. So thank you for that tidbit.
Charlie, you're muted.
Your microphone is muted. There you go.
Corey, I think the turnpike you're talking about was the Drinker Turnpike, wasn't it?
He says yes.
You just say yes. Okay.
Anybody else? No, Marianne's on the phone now.
It's Christine. Corey, what was the badge that you were working for again?
Life. No.
This merit badge was the Citizenship in the Community merit badge.
Very good. Excellent presentation.
Very good.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Now make sure you get your eagle. Don't quit.
Got a couple
And I'm getting
people
it.
Good advocates for Boy Scouts here.
Thank you,
Tori
Cor.
Watkins posted in the chat. Our friend Tori in New Jersey said last year his grandson became an Eagle Scout. So we have a couple good advocates for Boy Scouts here. I said we are recording this. We will post it on YouTube. Corey, I'll make sure you please send you the link when it's ready. So you'll have that as well. Again, thank you for your presentation, for sharing your research with us. I think everybody learned something new. Our next program will be on February 12th. We'll be joined by EJ Murphy from the Waverly Community House, who will be speaking about the COM's Destination Freedom Tours. They're tours based on the Underground Railroad history of Waverly. The COM offers them on a regular basis, and he'll give us some more information about those. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. And Corey, thank you for sharing your program. And stay warm on this very, very chilly weekend.